Do we have another prediction that just came true, my friends? This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. Check out this clip here from Clement. And we'll get into, actually, we're going to get into a ton of stuff in this video. We got some updates on Disney apparently finally changing its tune, but not for the reasons that you and I would want. We'll get into that. We got here a statue of Jesus is going to be built in New York City. Well, that's what our president wants to do, even though Zoran just got in. We'll get into that. We got women cheering on the Muslims coming in. Not hilarious whatsoever. We'll get into that. We got a ton of other stuff. Jordan Peterson over on Dave Rubin's channel. And are we going to even be around in 300 years? We'll get into that as well. Actually, we're going to get into a ton of stuff, my friends. Let's just get going here a little bit. Let's start with this clip here. If I can find it. There it is. Check this out. This is interesting. This might have something to do with New York and what just happened there.
There shall be a lulling. You know, hypnosis puts you to sleep. God said this that is going to happen is going to be mesmerizing during November and December, where I will expose one after the other. And people in this nation shall look and say, we have to call upon the name of the Lord. Because Islam has not only come from the outside, but from the inside.
The inside. In New York City, we have a new mayor, Zoran, who just won, who says he's a Muslim, although some are wondering if it's really true. He seems to be sort of a chameleon. He seems to also say he's communistic. He quotes Lenin. He also goes to places you would never anticipate if you're Muslim. Bars that happen to be gay. Tries to get constituents to rally support for him. We have so many interesting things. We have 50 Cent saying, R.I.P. New York City, founded 1624, died 2025. Yes, indeed. We're seeing a lot of things going on right now that make you want to pray. He said November and December, something surprising coming internally in America towards Islam. And it is November. Kim Clement called it right once again. Kim Clement also is a man who predicted our current president, saying he would have 2 terms, said that a Kennedy would join him. This man has been dead for almost a decade now. He predicted this back in like 2009, some of these in 2013. The one with the Kennedy was like 2009. Like, how did he predict our president and a Kennedy would join him back in 2009? Considering the fact that the Kennedys were on the left, on top of that, I mean, it's insane, right? But he did. He's not the only one. There's others that actually predicted as well, Mark Taylor. But we're seeing something happen that hasn't happened before. And actually, as I pointed out on my other channel, this infighting on the right, while the left is winning these cities, I think they don't understand that those fighting on the right are on the same side. Once you understand who's behind Zoran, because of course those that are pro, Israel, tend to talk a lot about, Muslim things happening in our country. This is not good, right? Well, interestingly, look who's behind Zoran. Well, first, let me show you this first. So they had a Democratic primary, and when they were asked the question, which country would you visit? First is mayor. All of them said the same country, except for Zoran. Right here, this country. They all said they'll visit this country. I'll just play a little bit of this. Check this out.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility.
Look, and you can see what he's already going to say right there. This is Cuomo. You can see right there what he's going to say. And guess what? This guy says it too. This guy says it too. Everyone says it. We're all going to visit that country first, except for Zoran. Zoran says, no, I'm going to stay in New York City. So everyone just assumes he's not pro that country whatsoever, right? Or is there something different that we don't realize? Oh, where did his money? Oh, look who backs him and celebrating his win. Oh, it's Soros. And Soros happens to be an ancestor from that country also. That's so weird. Well, there might be a reason behind this. And once you actually learn it, you realize that actually you guys on the right fighting, you're on the same team and you don't even know it. Just one of you is dealing with a smaller problem and the other one's dealing with one that's on a little bit more enigmatic level. You're all dealing with the same thing in the end. Once you learn that actually the secular or maybe the Luciferian ones at the top, the billionaire ones, they want to bring these people, of course, into your country. We're talking illegals. And make sure that you're not having any family whatsoever. You're in the rainbow. You're not having any kids. You're shrinking as a population while all these other populations come in. This is literally something it's a prophecy of theirs. That a way to destroy, of course, the West. And it comes from billionaires at the top who happen to have the same ancestry from that country. Although they're not exactly followers of the religion so much. They still, for some reason, want to make sure this prophecy happens. That's kind of weird. It's almost like the devil's behind it, which is basically what it is. The devil's behind it. And we're going to get into that more so as we get farther in this video. There's a lot of, if you want to see more detail, I won't really get into a lot here because I did it over my other channel. You can go check it out on my other channel. I get into it in a lot of detail over there. But you guys on the right fighting, you don't realize you're on the same team. A house divided against itself cannot stand. This is what Jesus said. We just had Megyn Kelly say the exact same thing. A house divided against itself cannot stand. If the right's divided, they're going to win every time. And you lose. Even if you guys are squabbling over something that's not as big of a deal as you think. Now, I want to get into some stuff I didn't get into my other channel, my other video. By the way, this is New York City. This is New York City. They're already doing the prayers there. Okay? They're already doing them. They're already calling for the city to be theirs. We're talking Islam. But, interestingly, our president has a response to it. Where is that at? I got it around here. I got so many windows open. Is reportedly considering putting a statue of Jesus Christ in the New York City harbor. I like that idea. That sounds like a great idea. He also wants to put one on the White House lawn. Our president is talking about building 2 statues of Jesus Christ. Now, like I said, Zoran's a chameleon. He is a chameleon. I don't even know if he's a Muslim. He might be just straight up a communist. I don't know what he is. But he's already calling out our president. And actually, maybe our president is doing something right now that a lot of people are not aware about. I thought this was an interesting post from Ariel here. I don't know if that's how you say his name. Are you ready for the fun to begin? I remember a little birdie telling me that by November 15th, 2026, NDAA amendments will mandate blockchain audits nationwide that would nullify 18 blue city outcomes. Heard Mamdani's team yields 1,200 pages of encrypted signal chats exposing a unity pact. In other words, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a scandal for this win. Deep, of course, state. We're talking socialist pivot, consolidation to basic, income as a Trojan for asset forfeiture. HR 8618 stalled October 2025. Mamdani embodies this as housing as a human right ordinance. Launders $3.2 billion in federal HUD funds to CCP linked developers. Our president's op counters with America First Deportation Act, EO draft November 10th rollout, targeting 1.4 million non-citizen. So is our president just barely getting started? You remember, this is only the first year. You're already seeing him talking about arraigning a number of people up at high. Is this sort of a trap? Is there something he's going to do where it ends up a lot of people, of course, get, taken in? It's kind of interesting thing to think about. Saying there's corruption behind this. You have Soros behind this guy. And so that's something interesting to think about. Now, with regards to what I was saying about both sides are on the same side, there's a strange prophecy, an ancient prophecy, that comes from a certain book that those from that country in the Middle East seem to follow. And some of these guys at the top, like I mentioned, Soros, are trying to bring it to pass, some of these predictions. And one of them is essentially looking at America as being sort of not our friend. This guy here is talking about it and labeling us as Esau. Okay? And saying Christianity ultimately became Western civilization. So they want to, of course, get rid of that, change it completely, get rid of our culture, and that's why you see what's going on in all these Western countries. For example, here is England.
So Whitechapel has been conquered. I thought we would just take a good look through Whitechapel, the absolute state of it, because something went viral recently, a picture, and it's just telling, and it kind of builds off what you
can see there Arabic written on the subway system now in England. You see that? You can see here, this is in London. So, of course, if people in the West are not having their own families, they're not having at least 2.2 children per family, then your population is shrinking, but you need to maintain the population to maintain your economy. So you bring in, of course, these people from other countries, and that means they're replacing your culture and who you are, which is fulfilling this ancient prophecy, which is what these weird, of course, billionaires are trying to do at the top. See how that works? And they happen to be also from the same ancestry as those on the other side that you're against, that are anti that country. If you're pro that country, you got the same weird billionaires that were of the same ancestry as that country pushing for this with Islam, using it as sort of a tool. You see how that works? So that's what's going on with this.
Right. I am sick and tired of the powers that be banning my billboards and adverts.
I want to bring you some breaking news this evening. Police are responding to an incident in...
So look, he put up a sign. This is Ricky Gervais. Put up a sign on subway systems saying, "Don't forget your vest," because you might get, of course, stabbed. And then, of course, that exactly happened in Huntington on a train. And this is what they banned his billboards. You got Germany canceling Christmas markets because apparently of these type of things happening. You got what's going on in Paris. This is a pretty crazy video here. Check this out.
Good day.
Oh, wait, one sec. I got an ad. In just a second.
Come on.
Feels like I'm in Nigeria or Africa or something. What is this?
You like Paris, bro?
No, bro. Wait a minute. So this guy went to Paris to get away? No shot. Oh.
So this guy's from Africa. He goes to Paris thinking it's like these movies he saw. And he finds out that it basically looks like Nigeria. That's what he literally said in the beginning of this. If it plays, you got to play or not. There you go.
It feels like I'm in Nigeria or Africa or something. What is this?
So you can see there, I've seen numerous videos about Paris like that now. That's actually the second or third one I've seen like that. That's what we're talking about. So you guys on the right that are fighting, you're on the same team. And we're losing because we're just infighting over dumb stuff, honestly. We need to be more intelligent about this, not so emotional. And actually, also on top of that, we need to start having kids again. And one of those things that needs to change is the Fed needs to be removed, which it appears like our president's trying to do. I've talked about this. Okay, Scott Bessent seems to be saying that's what's going on as well, the treasurer. It seems like he's trying to get rid of the Fed. He's got the nuclear option in place on the Senate, which only requires a 51% vote to get something passed. We need to get the Fed canceled via Congress through both houses. Using the nuclear option would be pretty easy. If we have some sort of crash, that would be the time to put it through to get rid of the Fed ultimately. While he already set up the financial framework off these stable coins to replace the Fed. He already did it. That's already done. That happened on the 21st last month. I already covered that. So he's got stuff in place. He's already got gold and silver going up so that we could revalue the new currency off the gold at Fort Knox with the high gold and silver price. Everything's in place. Once we have some sort of economic issue with the dollar, with the economy, he could put through and get rid of the Fed, put it on this new financial system, take the dollar, put it back on the gold standard. You and I will make double, triple the money. Probably make triple at least the money we're currently making, which would give you plenty of money to build a family. You wouldn't have to both work outside the home. One could work, the other one could be at home taking care of the kids. You could actually raise a family again. Then, of course, we have to get rid of, obviously, this feminism. That's a huge issue. And we see now that already in the culture that's collapsing. Dr. Phil talking about Disney, the great unwokening. I hate to say I told you so, but Disney, I told you so. Let me play this real quick.
I hate to say I told you so, but Disney, I told you so.
Told you so. Told you so.
Why? Because now they're acting like none of the race-swapped princesses, the same-sex kisses of the seven dwarfs being replaced by magical beings ever happened. Suddenly, they're rethinking things. Yep, after the billion-dollar losses, the boycotts, the empty theater.
Yep, exactly, man. They're finally rethinking because they're losing so much money. It's impossible to go forward. But who put that in their ideology in the first place for Disney? Maybe some billionaires with some ideas in their head because they don't like the West and they want to make sure we aren't having a bunch of course, children. See what I mean? Then we have to have all these other people coming in, which then it sounds crazy, but it's true. It's literally true. Okay, this is what they're doing. We have them admitting to it. I showed over on the other video more so, but they have literally admitted to this stuff. That's what they were trying to do. I think our president is trying to invert all of this. And then we got this here. This guy, Wes Huff, he grew up actually in a Muslim country. And he talks about who is Jesus historically.
I would say that it's very important that you get the right Jesus. Because I have all sorts of friends within Islam who say, we love Jesus. Or my Buddhist friends who see Jesus as some sort of sage or guru, and they say, we love Jesus. And unfortunately, the reality is that what they think or who they think Jesus is not a Jesus who can ever save them. And so if I want to encourage them to actually find what the truth is, in one sense, my commitment is to truth with a capital T.
Of course, if you look into the historicity of Jesus, all the texts surrounding Scripture, surrounding the New Testament, and the historical claims presented, if you go look at sort of what a historian would tell you, they're going to land more so with the idea or the claims that Jesus claimed to be the Messiah. They're not going to land with, oh, he was a Muslim. You see what I mean? So that's sort of a big deal, I think. Obviously, you got people that are secular that will just downplay what he said or downplay what's been told from history. They're going to just say, oh, he was just a prophet or something like that, right? But there's a big difference between things that were said in the Quran versus the Bible, because the Bible is a more ancient source. The Quran is like 500, 600 AD. I think it's 500 AD. Yeah, see, I'm right. 600 AD, 571 to 632. That's when Muhammad lived. And of course, he got some of his ideas from Christians he knew, from Jews he knew, and he essentially took his pagan Mecca, which was full of different gods, at that place, Kaaba, where they have the stone, right, that they all go around. They used to have multiple gods in that area. It's an ancient thing that existed before Islam. And he happened to pick one of the gods and canceled all the other ones. The god he picked was the one that was on part of his parents' last name. So he literally took the moon god that was part of his last name and put it as the god, and then sort of tried to make it. He took Christian elements, Jewish elements, and made a religion out of it. That's basically what he did. And a lot of people are not aware of that. But at any rate, also you have the factor of, like I said, having enough children to maintain your population, so you don't need, of course, immigrants. Lauren Chen talks about this. 81% of young women voted for a literal communist, but the right has spent the last few weeks attacking young men as the problem. Right? You remember the whole thing about Ali Bestaki talking about corn? Like, that was the real issue when actually it's feminism. Mandani supporters celebrate literally Sharia because of their parents being for a president. This is the reason why people say, should we even allow them to vote? This is literally why they're saying this, is because of stuff like this.
Law starts now. Absolutely. Zohran Mamdani, Islamic Caliphate, our brother in Islam, Islamic Caliphate of New York.
This is what we're talking about. Like, just doing it to get even with their parents. Just, oh, we're so cool. Oh, we voted for him so we could. And then they're just mocking you. When literally 50 years from now, what they're mocking is going to be the truth. Because that's what's going on in London right now. They have no understanding. Why are you even allowed, of course, to vote? Is why that's what some people are asking, because they do stuff like this. They literally are clueless. And then you have a minister, a Christian minister, calling our president a demon and praises Zohran Mamdani. Yeah, that's how you say his name. Exemplifying biblical virtues. What are you even talking about, dude? Okay, let's play this. This is a woman preacher.
So, power hoarding. When Kelly asked if I wanted to preach on this topic, I immediately said yes. Interesting about this topic, when I first came to Forefront in the fall of 2018, we were in the first term of this demon's presidency. And as an immigration attorney and an immigrant myself, I remember feeling really overwhelmed and angry at God, feeling like just really disconnected from my faith, from my spiritual practice, because every day just felt like a new onslaught of horrors. And I'm like, I really liked...
She's like very emotional, like, what does this have to do with your faith? Immigration. You see what I mean? Like, what are you even talking about? Obviously, she shouldn't be a pastor. You have here, of course, Rollo talking about tradcons don't want men to be better men. They want better men to solve women's problems. They need better men, not to save Western civilization, but because they've made the female experience their mental point of origin. I think what he's saying makes sense, actually. And I noticed that with a lot of the commentary from some of these women. And again, like I mentioned before, a lot of these influencers that say they're traditional conservative women have some sordid history. they're not exactly coming from the home like, oh, I'm a mother of 3 and I want to do a podcast. No, that's not what we got. Girls Gone Bible. Literally, they used to be Vegas chicks that would go with dudes for money. That's what they were doing that while they were doing the Girls Gone Bible podcast. I covered that before on video. You got Ashley St. Clair literally seeking out Elon so she can be his baby's mama. Okay? No joke. She's a trad con. You got Lauren, of course, Southern, literally being, according to rumors, with literally every influencer at one time or another been with, if you know what I mean by that, including even some leftists. Allegedly has a baby with one of these leftists. I mean, dude, like literally been with almost everybody. She's supposed to be a trad con, of course. She's totally traditional. Obviously, it's a joke, it's a complete joke, is what I'm saying. And they tend to be pushing feminism and what can men do for them rather than what is actually good for our society.
The conservative mindset right now, whenever somebody like Michael Knowles or fucking Ben Shapiro or the rest of these guys, or I don't care who it is, Nick Fritos, any of these guys that keep saying, well, men need to be men and they need to step up and take responsibility. And you got Jordan Peterson saying pretty much the same thing, which I'm wondering how he's going to get out of this one with Elon Musk. When you got these guys who are like I like what Tate has to say, not about his, they need to get to the gym, they need to make more money, they need to be more ambitious and more driven and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, not because they want men to be better men. They want better men to be better for women. And
that's what I showed it on multiple videos, that a lot of these things being said are about literally a woman wants this, not about how can a man be a better man overall for civilization, for our society, so that our society goes the right direction. Here he mentioned Jordan Peterson. Here you have Jordan Peterson talking with Dave Rubin about him and his gay husband adopting a child. And this is not the direction we need to be going. All right. This isn't going to be a solution for Western civilization.
Children who are breastfed do better.
Yep.
I believe that 1 year of breastfeeding is equivalent to, I think breastfed kids have a 5-point IQ advantage, and 1 point IQ is worth 1 year of education.
I have basically 2 freezers in my garage, 2 industrial freezers full of breast milk.
Right.
I mean, you see what I mean? Like they have to do all this weird running around. Oh, I got 2 freezers full of breast milk. I mean, like what? Come on, bro. How about we just have men marry to women and just have kids? I know it's weird. They were doing it for thousands of years. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we just got all these weird ideas for some strange reason. I don't know why. I already mentioned why, because they don't want you to have, of course, kids. That's the entire reason why. And I mentioned in my other video also about Nietzsche apparently predicting this, that our society would go into sort of a weird place. Let's play this here. Check this out. I'm gonna play this. It's pretty interesting.
He said that no one would truly understand his work until the year 2000.
Really?
And yeah.
Whoa.
And so the age of the last,
referring to Nietzsche,
men is in the 21st century, and it's a society where he said the West would be dying because it would push envy and crabs in the bucket and lack of ambition and conformity to a point where there wouldn't be space to live. People would not be procreating. The West would not be able to survive. It would be the most dangerous period in our history because it would be so complacent. And it's
so it's actually, this is a guy from 1880, Nietzsche, that predicted that in year 2000 plus, people would finally understand what he was saying about the future, about the last man, and saying that our society would die out because they would no longer be having kids. It would be complacent, to be conformity, which of course they're trying to do now as well. At any rate, I wanted to get into that as well. I'm kind of wondering what some of you guys think about all this. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.